Hello, in this video we're going to look at a Python programming construct called functions. Functions are very useful for writing a block of code, whether it's one line or hundreds or even thousands of lines of code, and then being able to reuse that block of code as many times as you like, wherever you like, in the remainder of the program. Now, the purpose of this script which we're going to set up is that we're going to ask the user for a number, and we're then going to draw a shape using the number which has been input as the number of sides of that shape. So if the user inputs 4, they'll get a square. If they input 3, they'll get a triangle. So in order to do this, we're going to set up underneath all the usual imports and window setup, we're going to set up our Python function for this script. So we're going to call it polygon, and inside the brackets we're going to put in what is known as parameters. So this function, which is defined as the name polygon, is going to take in two values or parameters which are going to be provided elsewhere in the program: sides and length. And within this we're going to write a for loop for x in range sides. Now, if you remember, a for loop iterates through a set of instructions until it hits a termination point. So if our termination point is defined as 4, it's going to repeat 0, 1, 2, 3 times until it hits the termination point of 4. So we're going to go forward by length and right by 360 divided by sides. So we're going to use the length value defined up here as our forward value. Now, why 360 divided by sides? If a user inputs 4 as the amount of sides, in order to get the turn which the total has to take in order to complete a square for 4 sides, we're going to need to divide into 360 the value of 4, which will give us 90 degrees. Alright, so that's our function which is set up. We're now going to create a variable called keepGoing equals true. Now, what we're using here is a Boolean value. Now, Boolean can be one of only 2 values. Now, for here, that's going to be true or false. So whenever you use Boolean true or false within Python, you need to make sure that true is written with a capital T. Now, at this point, you may be thinking, a number of the things which we set up so far don't necessarily make much sense. Can I ask that you bear with me, and when we get to the end of the script, you'll hopefully see how it all fits together. So we're going to set up a while loop. So we're going to say, well, keep going is equal to true. Now you'll notice here again, I've dealt with this in a previous video. A variable assignment uses single equals, whereas a comparison operator uses 2 equals. So if keep going is true, which it is at this point, it's going to do a couple of things. The first thing which we're going to do is we're going to set up a variable called sides. Hopefully you're starting to see the link now, which is going to ask for, using an input, enter the number of sides for the shape. Close off the brackets. We're then going to set up an if test. So if sides is equal to 0, keep going is going to be reassigned to false. Just realized I've made a small typo. Don't need a colon up there. Sorry about that. So if sides is equal to 0, keep going is equal to false. Now what that's going to mean is if someone inputs 0 sides for the shape, we're going to use this as our way of exiting the program. So when 0 is input, keep going is reassigned as false. The while loop, which is looking to see if keep going is true, will now no longer work, and the loop will stop, the program will exit. But if sides is not equal to 0, it's going to run the following under the else. It's going to clear the previous drawing, and it's then going to draw using the, still can't spell polygon, using the function polygon. It's going to draw using the sides which have been input up here and assigned as an integer, and we're going to set a default length of 100, and using this it's now going to draw a simple shape based on the input the user has made. So let's save this. Now that we've saved it, I'm going to show you a slightly different way to run this program. So I'm going to close it, and I've saved it to the desktop, and I'm going to run it directly from the desktop. We'll need to move that to the side. So I now put in 3, and it produces a triangle. Put in 4, produces a square. Put in 5, produces a pentagon. Put in 6, produces a hexagon. Put in 2, produces a line. Put in 1, produces a line as well. And put in 0, exits the program. There you go. So let's just bring that program up again. So we can leave you with the script and see what you can do with it. Perhaps with the input you might be able to change different aspects other than the sides. You could put another input in to ask for the length as well. So you could draw shapes with quite a few sides, but where you need to obviously have the length being a lot shorter than 100. Good luck.